Using Entrepreneurship to Rewrite the Story of Africa. Thank you, TEDxMaitama, for the invitation to join the conference, aptly titled Beyond Crossroads, as we reimagine the world post-COVID-19. The question is not using entrepreneurship to rewrite the story of Africa. For me, African entrepreneurs are the story of Africa. They are confident in their ability to create the future that they imagine, guided by the innate motivation which drives them, making a great contribution to the economic and social development of Africa. SMEs make up 80 to 90% of businesses in Africa. The World Bank estimates that formal SMEs contribute up to 40% of the GDP in emerging economies. Sub-Saharan Africa alone is estimated to have 44 million micro, small, and medium enterprises, the engine that drives the African economies. During the heat of the COVID pandemic in 2020, SMEs in Africa mobilized on an impressive scale, building diverse coalitions, demanding support and resources across sectors, gender, age, and geographies. They organized, collecting data about their sectors to inform the responses and demands from their national governments for the support they needed to survive the economic impact of the pandemic. Engaging with African entrepreneurs through the Support for African SMEs campaign we launched in April 2020, I witnessed their extraordinary resilience, showing they can change, pivot, take bold decisions, and take care of their workers, suppliers, and customers. With the lessons learned from 2020, going forward, African SMEs must be part of co-creating strategies to build robust entrepreneurial ecosystems across the continent. This momentum must be used to address financing, market access, intra-Africa trade, and support services for business development. To develop the intersection of government, society, and businesses in Africa, African SMEs must advocate for themselves. They must lobby and engage meaningfully with their governments to ensure the enabling environments they need to thrive and to continue to contribute to national and regional economic growth. The 1st of January 2021 marked the start of trading under the African Continental Free Trade Area AfCFTA agreement. Intra-Africa trade currently accounts for about 14 to 17% of Africa's total trade volume in goods and services, a significantly low figure by global standards. With AfCFTA, that narrative is set to change. The agreement connects 1.3 billion people across the continent, with a combined GDP estimated at $3.4 trillion. The AfCFTA offers opportunities for collaborative action, allowing African SMEs to benefit from greater access to new markets, an expanded customer base, and greater competition that drives innovation. The agreement will help reduce the manufacturing gap, creating more avenues for SMEs to create more well-paid jobs and ease the process of importing raw materials from other African countries. The AfCFTA, properly leveraged, will enable SMEs to set up assembly firms in other African countries, creating cheaper means of production and more well-paid jobs by keeping value chains within the continent. The key to unlocking the AfCFTA for Africans are the African entrepreneurs. Historically, Africa has been viewed as a problem to solve, but in 2014, when I arrived in Africa, there was a growing recognition that it was an opportunity to seize. I recall in 2000, The Economist called Africa a hopeless continent. By 2010, the same Economist said it was Africa rising. The role of African entrepreneurs was key to the Africa Rising story. In 2014, the challenge I noted was not growth, but smart, inclusive, and sustainable growth. As I traveled across the continent between 2014 and 2019, I met young, agile, adaptable, and receptive African SMEs who see the unique gaps in the market for their products and services. They have the imagination to see Africa's unmet needs as an opportunity and the long-term commitment required to build businesses of meaningful scale. I witnessed a surge in entrepreneurial support organizations, including incubators, accelerators, and venture builders, sharing the collective purpose of promoting economic growth through entrepreneurship. Post-COVID-19, gaps in the health, education, agriculture, manufacturing, digital, green energy, transport, tourism, and hospitality are all fertile arenas for the African SMEs. While all individuals do not need to become entrepreneurs, all can benefit from adopting entrepreneurial thinking and an entrepreneurial mindset, rooted in a willingness to inquire, challenge existing structures, explore new approaches, and find solutions to existing problems. Entrepreneurship across the continent is a positive factor in making economies more productive and responsive to society's needs, as well as in creating an environment that enables individuals to use their intelligence and talents to prosper. Amongst all the legacies of my 5-year tenure as the CEO of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, the impact I am most proud of is training, mentoring, and funding over 10,000 entrepreneurs from all 54 African countries. At the heart of Africa's recovery and transformation is the inherent ability of African SMEs to create jobs, drive innovation, generate tax revenues, and attract investments from around the continent and the world. It is always said that Africa has huge potential, but you cannot eat potential, and that Africans are resilient, but Africans have always been resilient. Post-COVID, to ensure that entrepreneurship continues to transform lives in African countries, we must move from potential and resilience to sustainable investment. African entrepreneurs are transforming Africa and the story of Africa. Thank you.